Recently, Aston Martin's new Valkyrie LMH completed some testing ahead of the Le Mans Hypercar's race debut into endurance racing competition next year. Because of this testing, we now have our first official look at the car out on track, and this was carried out during a 2-day official test at a British racing circuit. And beforehand, the car was also spotted at another famous racing circuit in Britain. So in this video, I will dive into the first look at this new Aston Martin Valkyrie LMH, as the brand begins preparation for the car's 2025 debut. It was expected that the Aston Martin Hypercar would conduct some test sessions in the summer of this year, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. The new Valkyrie LMH was first spotted during a test session at the iconic British racing track of Silverstone in mid-July. The same hypercar more recently tested at another famous British track, which is Donnington Park. This was where Aston Martin revealed the first official photos of the LMH to the public. First off, this car looks incredible, and I can't wait to see it racing out on track. And as expected, it does look very similar to the AMR Pro variant, which of course the LMH is based off of. But there are some modifications such as aerodynamic changes compared to the original Valkyrie. For example, the front and back wings look very different on the Valkyrie LMH compared to the AMR Pro variant, and changes like these need to happen in order for Aston Martin to comply with the regulations of Le Mans Hypercar. During the Donnington Park test, 3 drivers tested the Aston Martin. These 3 racers included Darren Turner, Mario Farnbacher, and finally Harry Tincknell, who has already driven hypercar machinery with Proton competition in the past. And it was definitely a productive test, with over 300 miles completed by the Valkyrie LMH. During these sessions at Silverstone and more recently at Donnington Park, the hypercar was decked in a camouflage livery, and overall, the car looks and sounds great, and already looks like it could win races off the bat with the cool looking design itself. The Heart of Racing team, which is set to run the operations of the Aston Martin LMH program, had team principal and driver Ian James speak about the prospect of bringing Aston back to prototype endurance racing. We're looking forward to the journey ahead. It's a steep hill to climb for everyone involved in this project. We are at the pinnacle of sports car racing. The competitors are formidable, and they have been doing it a long time. Some of them have endless resources. We know we are going up against the best, so we intend to represent Aston Martin at the same level. I believe, from what we have seen so far and with the DNA of where this car came from, I think we have the right tools to be able to do this successfully. The Valkyrie LMH is based off of the original road version of the Valkyrie, marking this program as the first to bring a hypercar that has been derived from a pre-existing road car. The Valkyrie LMH will use a 6.5-liter Cosworth naturally aspirated V12 engine, and the car will not be fitted with a hybrid component. This makes Aston Martin just the 3rd manufacturer, alongside Glickenhaus and Van Wall, to not choose a hybrid component within their hypercar. Aston Martin is set to debut in both the WEC and IMSA next year with this car, therefore competing in the top categories of hypercar and GTP, and also becoming the first brand to enter a Le Mans hypercar into IMSA competition. Aston Martin will also compete at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2025 in the top class, and this will be the first time that they have done this since 2011 during the LMP1 days. The British manufacturer, in conjunction with the Heart of Racing, is expected to enter 3 hypercars into endurance racing competition next year. Now that it is mandatory in the World Endurance Championship for manufacturers to run 2 cars from 2025, 2 of the Valkyries will be racing full-time in the WEC, while the 3rd car will be racing in IMSA. Although, as of this time, it is unclear whether Aston Martin and the Heart of Racing will enter the full season of IMSA GTP racing, or only compete in the Michelin endurance rounds just like Lamborghini is doing. However, considering that the Heart of Racing is already competing full-time in IMSA's GTD classes with the new Vantage GT3 Evo, it's definitely likely that the hypercar could compete full-time. Ultimately, seeing the Valkyrie LMH complete these test sessions at both Silverstone and Donnington Park, therefore beginning the process of developmental testing, is a great sign to point to the fact that Aston Martin and the Heart of Racing are getting very close to debuting the Le Mans Hypercar next year. And while there is much more to do before that happens, Aston Martin are definitely on the right track. So that was our first look at the new Aston Martin Valkyrie LMH. What do you think about the car now that it's been officially revealed? And are you excited to see Aston Martin return to prototype endurance racing in 2025? Well, as always, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching. For more content on endurance racing such as the WEC and IMSA, consider subscribing if you haven't already. On screen, you'll find some suggested videos to watch next. For now though, that's it for me. You'll hear from me next in the following video.